Welcome back, everybody, to LIFTALK. I almost said weekly weights. This is episode 74, I think, or 75. Here with returning guest, fourth-time guest, Jason Clarke, head coach, New Zealand Powerlifting Federation. Jace, how are you, mate?
Kia ora, bro. Good.
What's cracking?
Good to be in Sydney. It's pretty hot, but
Yeah, you've been in the cold of London and traveling all around and in fucking Scotland and Ireland and all kinds of places.
yep.
That's kind of what I wanted to talk about first was sort of differences that you've noticed in the powerlifting communities, the gym culture, stuff like that, compared to like being home in New Zealand when you lived here for how long did you live here? Like 9 months or so?
I think it was about 6.
Yeah, okay.
Like September to like February or something like that.
And then now obviously having lived in England and traveled to a few other places, what kind of stands out as like gym culture things in different countries? What are some characteristics?
It's a good question. I think it's probably the more notable thing that I've had is like taking on clients from different regions and countries, like because they all kind of perceive training a little bit different, and I think it's funny because you pick up on like little things that they're used to in their previous coaching experiences or like what their mates are doing and all that. And then you come from like a kind of different system and then it's actually like, they're like, oh, I can do it like this. And it's like, yeah. But it's funny because like I always thought we were just doing the same sort of thing. And we are in a way, but there's definitely like different ways of going about it. And I think like, depends on like where do you want to start? Like just the culture of training or more like from a programming perspective, because I could kind of talk on a bit of everything.
More like the gym culture stuff, like because I mean I notice it when I've been to international meets and stuff. You see the way people warm up, you see the way that like they talk to one another and the way they like hype each other up and stuff. It's all very different. What's some of the stuff that you've noticed? Because it's kind of hard to put your finger on it as well. You like see someone do something, you're like, oh, that's a bit different. What's some of the stuff you noticed? Like even differences from New Zealand to Australia. Seems like you guys are a bit more chill in New Zealand.
Honestly, I do think that's probably like one of the biggest things is Kiwis tend to be just like generally more chill about everything. And I see this in like feedback from people as well. Like we're pretty easygoing, which has its good and bad things, like upsides and downsides. But I think culturally, it is a little bit less like, it's kind of changing though, because I feel like the younger generation are becoming a little bit more like intense. Like the older hats are a little bit more chill. But I would say in general, like we just don't take it as seriously. It's a little bit skewed because the gym that I run is very like, I don't know, we just all have a bit of fun really. And there's other like gyms that take things a little bit more seriously. But I would say like something that's definitely different between New Zealand and Australia is like the culture of you guys tend to lean into like more other professions like physio, chiropractic, and just like working with more people.
Yeah, okay.
In my experience, like I feel like there's also probably a bit more available here as well. So it's a bit easier to get into that. Whereas like I feel like in New Zealand, we just kind of have like, oh, she'll be right attitude, adjust the program a little bit and get on with it. But I think that is again like one of these things that's bleeding into New Zealand powerlifting a little bit more. I think that probably the big thing for me when you say that comes to mind is like in the UK, and I actually messaged you about this because I think I spoke about it on some shitty podcast that I did, solo mission.
The Saturday SBD.
Yeah, I think that was
thing,
really interesting for me, like this huge SBD culture on a Saturday, primary SBD in the UK. And like my reference point is people that I coach and the gym that I trained at in London. And like I went to a couple of gyms outside of that, but there's a huge culture of like everybody shows up to the gym at 9 a.m. on Saturday morning, you know, talks a bit of shit, gets their pre-workout in and all that, and then like rips into a like 4 or 5 hour session SBD. And like, I kind of loved it, eh? Like I said to you, like, I don't know if you remember, but I was like, it feels like, because I kind of manipulated my program to just work more towards that just because I was like, I just want to get involved. Whereas like, you know, historically I would do like a primary squat Monday, primary deadlift Wednesday, something like that. And it felt heaps like a sport, like a weekly sport, which I thought was really cool. And like, it felt like you had that end goal at the end of the week that you were working towards, which just you could kind of like position yourself towards that. And I think it had a lot of like drawbacks, but I just enjoyed that, like, I don't know, like you get a bit of nerves on a Saturday morning because you're like, fuck, I got my big session, and like it's like, oh, this is like kind of fun, right? And like someone who's been in the game for like 11 years, it's like it's just nice to actually like have something that invokes some sort of emotion.
Something to look forward to, yeah.
Yeah, and like it's just a different way of doing it. And
I remember like I had Matty B on, and he's obviously coached by Marcellus, who leans heavy into primary SPD days where they do all three mains, like the heaviest of the week on the same session. And he said the same thing about how it like reminds him of playing rugby.
Yeah.
Where you have, you know, your skills session early in the week, and then you do your conditioning, and then you do your team run, which is like your, you know, your lighter stuff to get you prepared. And then you have your game, and then it gives you like more data for what the performance day actually looks like and what you need to do leading into it.
Yeah, I think it like, well, a lot of the argument is like it creates predictability, which I agree, but I think like the drawback is that like you end up thinking about that during the week, and you potentially detract from your like sessions during the week because you are like, oh, I want to save it for Saturday, which is fine. And I think you can do that. And I do that with some clients, but like, I think I just enjoyed it as a way to like, just kind of reframe my thinking going into that. Cause like I used to do SPD Saturdays. Like I remember we used to do SPD Saturdays when like 2014, like before my first comp, me, my brother, and like two other guys. And it was the same sort of thing, but we didn't like frame it the same. Like I would smash myself with squats the night prior and then go in and like squat again and like max out. And I was just like, I didn't really think about it because I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. And I think like that also actually worked really well. But I think like when you kind of maybe take too much away from the week to week stuff, you can lose like a lot of like good training in the process. But I think like that was like a big shift. It exposed me to a different way of thinking, which I really liked. And to be honest, like that's what I've enjoyed the most about like getting around different federations, different countries. Like you think you know a lot, but you're just exposed to different ways of thinking. And I think it just kind of like, oh yeah, I'll chuck that in my toolkit, because, you know, maybe you got the bro who's like just absolutely wrecked all week, and he's like, he can get some good work in, but like a bit shit, but he's like, I'll chill on Saturday, I got nothing, no kids or anything, and I can like put in a big slog on Saturday. And you're like, okay, well, maybe something like that works a little bit better, because it's better than nothing, right?
Mm. Yeah, that's one of like a big focus I have with my clients is like, let's figure out your schedule and which days you have more time, which days of the week you tend to feel worse or better, which are your big days at work. Okay, we'll either have a rest day on that day, or like or the lighter session of the week on that day, and we'll sort of gear things to all those days where you have more time or you feel more recovered. Mm. And I think the SPD Saturday is definitely like a really good example of that, because most people like they don't work on the weekends.
Yeah,
they have 5 hours to train. Like I would personally hate that. Training for 5 hours, fuck.
Why?
Just would prefer to be doing other stuff.
Just like too long of a session, too draining?
I feel like, because I at the moment do my primary squat, primary bench on the same day, and then I have my deadlift 4 days after that, my primary deadlift. I feel like I would feel pretty smashed by the time I got to deadlifts. And I feel like I would definitely need to like taper my expectations. Yeah. But not because of the top work, because of the back down work. Yeah. Whereas in a comp, I don't have that. Yeah. It's literally 3 singles and then onto bench, and then 3 singles and then onto deads. And like I don't ever feel smashed by the time I get to deads in a comp. Like I feel sweet and I'm ready to go. Whereas if I was top set squat, 3 back offs, top set bench, 4 back offs, then deadlifts, I'd be like, fuck me.
It's like
I do it the day before or something, you know?
Yeah, it's an interesting perception of it, because like for me, I think like it worked well. To be fair, like I was always smashed by the time deadlifts came around, but like I always suck at recovering between sessions. But like I could train for like 5 hours hard, and it's like I get to deadlifts and I'm like a bit cooked, but I'm like, I'm all good with that. But then the next 2 days I'm fucked. So I think like you also in this, like if we're talking about SPD Saturdays and where they're applicable, consider like someone's intra-session versus their like inter-session recoverability, because some people just can't go for 5 hours, and that's like fine, you don't have to. But some people just also like they'll do a squat session and then just like legs are cooked for like days.
Yeah.
And I think there's some like validity in using that for those sort of like demographics.
Yeah, and I mean that actually reminds me of like a lot of hybrid training. You know, a lot of hybrid training they do what's called like condensing the stimulus, where they'll actually put their hardest run and hardest like leg session on the same day, so that they have more time before it again, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense when you think about it from like a why are you spiking stimulus so much on one day, but it does make a lot of sense when you look at the whole week, and it's like similar for the SBD day stuff. But my biggest issue with it is that most people sandbag the fuck out of the early week to get themselves ready. They almost like use every week as a deload. Yeah. Like I gotta show up for my Saturday. Saturday's the most important day. And this has come back to one of the overrated, underrated that you've got, the label of primary. Yeah. Like people put this emphasis of this importance on this one session or this one set that they have to do, and they almost like throw the rest of it out as if it doesn't matter. And like the whole weekly total thing, people posting their weekly total, like that really shits me, because you're showing people what you think matters. Yeah. And the work that led to that weekly total was not the weekly total.
All the shit in between.
All those boring reps, all the sets, you know, below RPE scale, like all that kind of stuff. And I feel like the, I guess, like importance that we place on these primary SPDs, and not everyone's like this. Like a lot of people I know still train fucking hard through the week and still show up and perform. But a lot of people also just take the piss.
Yeah. I think also like another thing that came to my mind as you were saying that, like another critique that I have of it is it's like it puts so much importance on one day. Like what if you got the shits on your Saturday and you just sandbagged your whole week, and now you like can't even train on Saturday, and you're like, or like, you know, you just can't get a session in on the weekend and you have to move it forward, and then you're all like, oh, well, I need to do my pause squats 2 days before, so I'm primed for that. And I think that's the other thing that really hacks me off is like people just being like, this is probably a big cultural thing in the UK. Oh, I need to have that beer. John bought us some beers. Champion behavior.
Go on, John.
The like overemphasis on like what am I doing in the lead up to that, and how does that affect the day, and like what are the outcomes of that? Like, have you heard this yarn about how like if you're, let's just use squats as an example. Like if your primary squat feels heavy, you need to like make your secondary heavier
so that you
in order to prime you better. Yeah, and then the other yarn is like if you don't feel pop out of the bottom, you need more volume, which is just the most subjective shit I've ever heard in my life. Yeah. Like, what do you think about that?
I mean, I've heard this narrative. I think it just comes back to, for me, overemphasize on primary day.
Yeah.
Therefore, doing the training during the week that makes the primary day feel good in the short term, not necessarily doing the work during the week that makes you better in the long term. And we know that like the very short fluctuations in performance are not really related to the same thing as long-term progress. Like it takes more than a week to like actually make an adaptation. It takes more than a block in most cases, especially when you're trained, to make an adaptation. So you kind of have to do the shit that you think is going to be productive for longer than like, oh, I didn't feel good in my one primary day, I'm going to make a change to the secondary day.
How do you fucking know?
And also you're kind of just guessing. Yeah. And then the other thing is like we act as if each week is the same when, you know, there's external stressors, there's job stuff, relationship stuff.
There's about 600,000 different things that can make your primary day feel heavy. Like and that are probably like, oh, you know, it feels heavy and maybe I should do one like triples instead of fours. How about like the 16 beers that you drank or the fucking 4 hours of sleep that you got? Like, come on. Zoom out a little
huge fight you had with your missus, or exactly. Like that breakup you went through, or like
the fact that you trained at 4 a.m. instead of fucking 4 p.m.
Yeah.
You know, just like there's so many things that you can unpack that are probably making more of an impact than, you know, whether you did threes or fours or extra 5% intensity.
And you also have to give it more than 1 week for it to even have any idea of whether it's playing out. And then you also compare like how you felt in week 1 versus how you felt in week 4 when there's a whole bunch of sets done in between that would add fatigue and, maybe add fitness, but who knows, right? It's like you're just adding way too many variables together and you're trying to pinpoint one and say, this is the one that we need to change. I think it's a little bit of a fool's errand in my mind to try to like really dial in what exactly you need to change because we really don't fucking know. Really don't.
We're just having a guess. Like if someone, I don't know. It's an interesting. I think it's an interesting concept because for me, what I really actually think about when someone says those sort of things, I kind of think about the taper because I'm like, okay, well, what is that going to look like then? Like if you're really battling to like feel like you're in your groove, well, maybe you throw in like maybe
you need some more reps.
Well, maybe you fucking do like a primer session. The only time I actually use a fucking primer session is in a taper, right?
Yeah.
So
that's the only time you really need to be primed is comp day, right?
It's the only day that matters. But I think okay, I've got a question for you because I think about all this and I try and look at it and be like, okay, what can we learn here? And I think for me, I'm like, I think there are moments and phases in training where it is a little bit more important to have people feeling good on a certain day because not to go down too far of a rabbit hole, but like what you said before was really important about how the bulk of your work just needs to be good, solid work. And it doesn't matter if you're adding load every week because the stimulus isn't to get stronger isn't created within a session. It's created over time, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. Did you see what Peach posted about this the other day? No. Anyway, it's basically the same sort of concept, right? That like, it's not about like expressing your strength. It's about getting the work done and building up and like not worrying about what your, what your peak intensity looks like. It's like, the bulk of the work and you don't like, if you don't feel good on a day, just like pull it back. Is this idea of progressive overload that it's more of a long-term thing than just adding 2.5 each week. Have you ever read like Brian Miner's article about this?
Progressive overload is a symptom of the training.
Yeah.
It is the adaptation itself. It's not the forced addition of load every block. That's not how it works.
And you could look at progressive overload, even if you want to simplify it, right? You could look at it on a more macro scale. Like, are we going a little bit more over time, like over 2 blocks, not like week to week? Week to week, it doesn't fucking matter. And if we're really looking at progressive overload, you should be looking at exertion and bar speeds, not like load on the bar, because that's what you're trying to push a little bit closer to. And then again, it comes down to specificity. Anyway, tangent, but like what I wanted to say was like, I think there are times where having that, like, doesn't matter what's on the bar, find the exertion is important. But when we're getting closer to competition, this whole idea of like building the weekly total and building that momentum, I think is psychologically so fucking important.
I completely agree. And like, I will actually take people away from top sets entirely when they're so far out that it becomes distracting.
Got that on my overrated, underrated.
But yeah, like I love to just get people to do just bulk work. And maybe, after 3 blocks, we push a big set of 5, like what I did last time.
That's so good.
Right?
I love that.
Like I just did 3 5s on my Monday for 3 blocks in a row. And then the final block, I pushed it to a PB.
Yeah.
It's like, that's enough of an indicator to me that I'm stronger than I was last time, because I wouldn't have been able to do that 230 for 5 set at the start of the cycle. So like, I didn't have to dip my toes into a max or get close enough to a max to know that I'm stronger with that. I could do that through rep work. But I completely agree with what you said is like, there are times and places where we go away from prioritizing the volume work and we actually put some priority into those top sets and those top sessions. And in those final sort of like 2 or 3 blocks before competition, I will use secondary and tertiary days.
This is where I was headed.
Yeah. So I will actually use secondary and tertiary days as a means to get you prepped and feeling better for the primary. But the thing I have against primer days is like thinking that every week we need to be primed and need to be performing, because that's just not the reality of it. Like, this is a sport where you compete twice a year, 3 times if you're at a higher level, and you have to 1 time a year for a lot of people. It's like, we got 51 weeks of the year where we can just build and actually get stronger. We don't have to dip our toes in and test.
You don't have to, like, you're not, like, and I understand that, like, I can sympathize with the concept of, like, wanting to, And like testing that sort of weekly schedule to make sure that it's like you're having that performance on a given day. But I would fucking love to like speak to these people and be like, okay, how consistent is your like performance on comp? Like, is it really that repeatable? Who did we talk about? Oh, Sean Noriega's a big proponent of this. We know he shits the bed every time he fucking competes. So how's that going for him? You know, I could speak the same about like, I don't want to name names, but you know, there's a few people that run that system that I'm like, oh, where's the repeatability, bro?
Yeah. And I did run a like no taper into team champs last year.
I got this on my fucking.
But I had my primary squat and primary deadlift a day apart. So I wasn't doing Saturday SBD. I was doing like primary squat Thursday, primary deadlift
Saturday,
Friday.
yeah.
So it's essentially like...
Oh, like 1 day apart.
1 day apart because I can't train on the weekends.
Oh, yeah, true.
Because of the kids. So now I've gone back to spacing them apart so that I'm actually like able to get a bit more exertion into those days and push a little bit harder on those days. But it worked quite well for me. The only issue that I had with it was like I was a little bit I definitely lacked confidence for where the top end was because I didn't go near it because I just did a normal week 3 the week before and we were expecting this like, you know, decent sized jump. Deadlift peaked really well. Squat was good. Bench was
Yeah, I'm keen to chat like deeper on that because I've got that in my overrated, underrated. Like week 4 is the comp day. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. To come back, I want to come back to the different like cultural differences. Just one of the things that I was thinking about was like, I went to Silent Worker Gym actually where I got the shirt.
Yeah,
in Montpellier, in France, and like
you went to the meet.
No, I just went to the gym and just trained.
Oh right, you went to the gym, yeah.
Because I kind of know punter, but like it's just like get there, bro. Like, oh, g'day, how's it going, bonjour? And then like as soon as I get there, bro, it's like, guess what I saw? People fucking maxing out, bro, straight away.
Yeah,
and I was like, you know, speaking of like cultural things,
yeah.
And you like always like you kind of put French people as like people grinding out. You're like, yeah, whatever. But you get there, and I was just like grinding. I'm like, fuck it, hell, ain't that the truth, bro? I was like, you guys are living up to the stereotype super hard. It was pretty funny. That gym was awesome, bro. Like,
what are the stereotypes in like Scotland and Ireland and England?
Whoa. Big deadlifters in England, bro. Or in the UK. I don't know. I don't think they really have.
What I've seen from
what would you think?
What I've seen from Scotland, I don't really know much about Irish powerlifting, or even
Irish. I know a few like
even British
Irish coaches and shit, but I can't speak to many.
From what I see from Scottish powerlifting, like obviously I listen to barbells and BS a fair bit.
Yeah,
they fucking seem like mad dudes.
Yeah, good cunts.
But what I've noticed is that like their comps are very. There's like a lot of like theatrics.
Yeah,
and there's like a lot of like build up. There's a lot of like they're really good MCs over there. Like
they have the best comps.
Yeah, it seems like they just put a lot of production and a lot of effort into their meets.
Yeah.
Seems like their comps are sick.
Bro,
love to do one.
Scottish Nationals is so gun. Like it's just good.
The standard's
vibes,
not
bro.
that great though. Like it's not that high of a level, is it?
Like lifting wise,
yeah.
nah. I mean, it's like
it's okay.
It's probably like it'd be below New Zealand, Australia, but like just the people are so good, man. I love the Scottish people. And they're like, I volunteered there, right? Like I refed, I've spotted and loaded, and it's fucking awesome, bro. Like they give you a card, like a little fucking like you would get to go into like a hotel or some shit, right?
Yeah.
And you can just get any food you want throughout the day, like if you're volunteering. And then like I was reffing, and they have so many volunteers that would have 2 sets of refs. So I would ref flight A, then chill. And then ref flight A, and then chill, and then ref flight A.
Oh, that's so good.
Bro, my like cognition and like ability to like ref properly was so much better. Same thing when I spotted and loaded. They just look after their own, man, like so well.
I love that.
Like shout out to like Claire Tocker. She's like the one that's running all that. And like, it's just so good. They have a really good coaching course. I'm actually like giving a seminar on like game day coaching there in April. Like it's just like, they're just good people, you know? So like in terms of that is probably something that I should have brought up is like their comps just like way better. Comps in London, bro, potentially the worst competitions I've ever been to. Like almost as bad as fucking, what was the shittest comp I went to was like Queensland Regionals APU 2023.
It would have been 2022.
No, it was 23.
Yeah?
Yeah,
Okay.
23.
Yeah.
Fucking shit house, bro.
Why'd you go there?
I was living here and I wanted to go. Went up there, coached. I couldn't coach out the back though, but I was just like watching. And then I flew to New Zealand because I had to go there for a comp.
Yeah, right.
And fucking where was it, bro? Beanley.
I don't even know where that is.
Fucking shithole. Sorry to anyone who lives in Beanley. Actually, one of the bros I think does live there. Guy Nick, like Thickles something is on his Instagram.
Oh yeah.
I think he lives around there, or maybe he used
He's
to.
a good dude.
He's a
I like
fucking
him.
good cunt.
Yeah.
But shithole. And like no MC, no scoreboard, no music,
What?
just like powerlifting in a fucking library, bro.
Well, that kind of tells you more about APU than Australia.
Oh, it's got nothing to do with like
Our comps now are actually sick.
yeah.
Like we've got some good autonomy with local meets, and like there's like different spins on different comps. Like obviously we've got team champs, we've got like power powers and stuff like that. Night of Champions, SPD Cup, like yeah.
That's probably
effort
actually
to it.
something that you guys do really well. Like the way you have like you cater to your like mid-tier lifters really well. Like we just don't really have the capacity to do that in New Zealand. Like we run so few comps. That's probably a huge cultural difference. It's like New Zealand we have like 3 comps a year. Here you guys have comps all the time. UK is like comps fucking every weekend.
Yeah.
So I
There's
think
so many more members though.
yeah. Also, it's just the way that we don't like. You know how you guys heavily base your comps around gyms.
Yeah.
Like we don't have enough powerlifting gyms to do that.
Yeah.
Like, and the ones that do, like I live overseas. John, who owns the other powerlifting gym in Auckland, also lives overseas. So we just don't really have the capabilities to do it. And we just
You
Like-
got to upskill some people so they
all
can
our
run for you.
all our federation stuff is like the local fed goes in and runs the comp, so they'll come to my gym, set up and do everything, which is fine, but it just really strains like a select few of people, so you can't really add to the calendar. Our comps are good though. We have good comps. I did like the I went to New South Wales States.
Yeah, you spotted.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was at
Got me a t-shirt.
what's that chick's name?
Newcastle Barbell.
Yeah,
Courtney.
yeah, that was good.
Yeah.
That was good fun. Like
That wasn't bad.
rough as fucking venue, but like I love that shit.
Yeah, no, that was a good meet. Like that was well run.
Yeah, that was good fun.
that
Apart
was
from like
all her, not AP.
I remember like someone dropping
Oh yeah, Benny
down.
dropped the Ben Newen, he dropped the bar jack on his foot and broke his toe.
Oh no, not that. Like someone dropped, like they did like 310 for example. Then the next attempt was like 309, and I was like, you can't do that.
Oh really?
Yeah.
They allowed that?
Yeah.
That's ridiculous. All right,
Anyway.
let's go into the bulk of the episode. Fuck, we've already been going for like 30 minutes.
This is like, I think we've already covered some of the shit.
I got to be done at 6, so we got an hour 20.
Oh, we got heaps of time.
All right, we're going to do overrated, underrated, properly rated. So
Like, I forget about properly rated.
we've
Eh?
each got a few, we've each got a list of a few like topics.
Oh, I got some good ones here. Eh?
I'll let you go first, and then you can get my opinion and we can discuss.
Okay. Well, let's just go. Like we already talked about it, so let's just knock it off. Primary and secondary days. Like, so what I wanted to like overrated, underrated, just the terminology. Not like prescribing in that way, because we've always kind of done that, right? It's like using those phrases to your clients.
I think it's slightly overrated, not like massively overrated. I think there is a level of importance that needs to come across with like defining what those days are and mean. But there's obviously certain blocks in which that importance is heightened, and certain blocks where it literally doesn't matter. So I think like in a sense, you want to get across to the client like, hey, this is the day where you're going to be performing your heavy singles or your heavy doubles.
Yeah.
Or this is the day where you're going to be aiming for a rep PB at the end of this cycle. And the day that you do before it is like, working on some other qualities. Maybe it's pauses or high bars or something else.
More technique based.
Yeah, or something that's, building the technique or building the hypertrophy, or like there's a slightly different focus on the other day, which is a little bit further removed from performance. And that's kind of all it means, is like the primary refers to the performance and the secondary refers to like the sort of working on the other stuff. That's kind of the way that I look at it. I think properly rated in like comp blocks, like maybe the comp cycle, the last 2 or 3 blocks into a comp, I think properly rated. What do you reckon? It's definitely not underrated.
I think like it depends. You have to like educate someone when you're using these terminologies, but it quickly disseminates what you want, right? Like you can quickly get across the importance by saying something that's secondary without having to be like basically saying what you say. So I think it's a good way of communicating quickly, but there are times you need to be like, it doesn't fucking matter right now. You just need to be pushing. Like everything's low RP anyway. Like sometimes I'll send out a block and it's like everything's like a 7 RP. Like, oh, what's the primary day? Nothing.
Neither of them. Both of them.
Yeah, all of them.
Yeah, both of them.
You know?
Yeah, I think like something that I'm really big on is explaining to my clients the purpose of each session. So like that's not just primary, secondary, tertiary.
It's like everything.
It's like, hey, we're doing this day because we want to, build your work capacity, or we want to work on this particular technique, or we want to do X, Y, Z, or we want to, put more effort into building muscle on this particular day. So that means you have to focus on X, Y, and Z. And then on this other day, we're pushing your performance. So maybe you have a bit of extra caffeine on this day, and you really dial yourself in and you make sure you're like, locking your technique in on your warm up so that you feel ready to go. And that is different to primary, secondary, tertiary.
Yeah.
But I actually think it's a better way to go about it because it's like, it's more actionable.
Yeah.
It's like a thing that we can portray to the client and say, hey, this is what we actually want you to focus on in this session. The importance is the importance. Like it's all important. If it wasn't important, it wouldn't be in the program.
Yeah, true.
But here's the qualities that we're after, and here's how you get to those qualities.
Yeah, like if you're just like loosely using the terms primary, secondary, you probably are missing out on a lot of like important context. Do you remember
and you're also making people think that the tertiary and secondary days aren't as important.
Yeah,
when
that's a good
the reality
point.
is that's actually not true.
Yeah,
because there is work to be done. There are things to be improved. Otherwise, it wouldn't be in the program.
Yeah, it's actually a good point. Do you remember like?
So I'm changing my answer to overrated.
Yeah,
just explain it.
You ever remember like? Do you remember Brandon Lilly?
Of course.
What was the program that he had?
The Cube.
The Cube. You remember like it used to be volume day, strength day, and then like I think they would kind of
dynamic day, like power day. I think
like
it was
power day.
Yeah,
but like it was kind of the heavy day a lot of the time.
Yeah,
which was also just a DUP.
That was
model,
like
right?
the first DUP. So one of the first DUP models.
So like up until probably like 22-ish, 23-ish, like that was just how I would phrase things. And like then maybe you'd have like a technique based day for whatever reason. But even then probably I didn't use that much. And I think it's just kind of like the same shit really. But I guess to give you an answer, I would say probably properly rated because I do use the terminology, but I also agree with you in the sense that you need to provide context around that as opposed to just loosely being like, also like don't work under the assumption that everybody needs a secondary day. What I fucking hate, if we want to really go like to overrated, like if anyone says quaternary day, I'm a fucking jab them, eh? Like that's just not on. That ain't it, Chief.
What's 5? Quintenary day?
Bro, I don't know. That's just like, don't even talk to me. Territory, eh? Like, get out of here. No, but like, that's just too far. Like, if you're saying quaternary, like, shut up. It's just another bench day. Like, it's a secondary bench day.
I feel like
it's just a
if
fucking
you're
secondary
benching
bench
4 or
day.
5 times a week, you have maybe 2 primary days and you have maybe 3 secondary days.
Well, you can have 4 secondary days.
Yeah, or maybe you have 5 secondary days.
Yeah, just shut up. Don't call it quaternary.
It's just training.
It's also a shit word.
It's just training.
It's just fucking training.
Just do your training.
All right. Overrated. Underrated. No, properly rated.
Okay, mine is
cooked.
Optimizing things.
Oh, give me more context.
So the pursuit of trying to find the best method in regards to anything, whether it's program, technique, sleep, macros, food, all of it.
Min-maxing.
Like trying to optimize any part of the system. Overrated, underrated, properly rated. I have a very strong stance in this.
I think it's massively overrated.
Thank you.
It depends on who you are though. Like, I think that if you are like, I coach a few people that are like gun, but they just like kind of suck at their like managing their life stuff.
Charles Kafusi.
Wow, bro, calling out the bro.
Yeah, I'll call him out.
And like, I think for them, like, you just have to really emphasize the importance of that stuff. But it's not really what you're saying. So
that's exactly the opposite of optimization.
Yeah.
That's like, hey, can we at least tick a
but
box?
they're like, it's all relative, right? You're trying
That's
to
right.
optimize for them, and they're just like, yeah, whatever.
But if you optimize, that's not even optimization. That's just improving. If you improve something, there's still more to improve, right? And the idea of optimization is like finding the best outcome.
Yeah. I think if we like, if I break it down like program wise, fucking hate it, overrated as, like, you just like shut up and train sometimes. Yeah. Like you don't. It doesn't need to feel perfect every day.
It goes back to what we said earlier of like,
just stop thinking about it.
If you're constantly trying to change stuff, you've never actually given something a long enough go to know whether it's right or wrong. And the other thing we said was like, there's so many other factors that could affect one or two performances that could cloud the entire program if you look too closely at each individual session.
Yeah. I just think you just gotta let it happen sometimes. Like, you gotta give it a chance. Realistically, like, if you just train hard and you look after yourself, don't do dumb shit, you'll be fine. But you also have to enjoy your life, right? Like, just to go past programming, because we've talked a lot about that, into like lifestyle stuff.
Yeah.
Like, come on, man. You got to live a life. Like, don't get 10 years into this and be like, I haven't done anything. I've just sat in it. But no one would, though, because they quit eventually because you can't have any balance. I think what's so underrated is just like going out and enjoying yourself, like every now and then. It's actually one of the young fellas in NZPF. He like competed on our junior and sub junior team. Like, he's actually been putting up a whole bunch of content around like just enjoying himself and how like he just took it way too seriously when he was like 19 and he's like just fucked his relationship with it.
Was that the guy who made the post about like his friends asking him how much he gets paid? Was that guy?
Yamato. Yeah. Did you see that?
I saw that post. Yeah.
Yeah, that dude's the man, bro.
He seemed like a good dude.
Yeah, he's the fucking man. I had a good time out with him in Japan. But like, I just think like you can't take it too seriously. And like, you're going to progress anyway. Like, just be patient with it. If you enjoy it for what it is. You don't have to like, I don't know, just don't make it a chore. You know, like, I think something that I always like try and like frame to my clients is like, it should be a stress relief. This should be a form of stress relief, not a stressor, not an added stressor, because like you take it way too seriously and you put way too much emphasis in every session, every meal, every night you go to sleep. It's fucking stressful, bro. Like, you know, like I mean, I was going to go further, but I won't. But like, I think optimization in that sense, it's like just be a normal dude. Like, maybe have 6 beers, not 48. You know, like, just like, okay.
Says us drinking beers. On the
yeah, but like, you know, a few, not like, don't go out on a bender. But no one's going to do that in powerlifting anyway.
Well, no one's going to do that in powerlifting and then be like, woe is me, why have I not progressed? Most people like are aware of the consequences of their actions, right?
It's like, know that 2 beers, like, just to like bring it back to alcohol, know that 2 beers is probably good for you and 12 beers is probably not so good for you. Like, I think that's all you really need to know. And like, you can extrapolate that to a million things. It's like, you know, like, you get clients that are like, oh, this session felt really bad because I had to like go and like hang out with people and like I didn't sleep for an extra hour. I'm like, bro, come on. That's like, you're not living your life.
Yeah.
You're being avoidant of your life in the hopes that you squat 2.5 more on your primary day. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Like, I think, and honestly, I think that overall that becomes extremely detrimental. I also think this is a narrative that's pushed super hard by like content creators in the area that just like always talking about optimization and shit, and people see it and they're like, oh, I have to do that and have to do this. What I will say is like, I've hung out with like, you know, the best lifters in the world. These people do not optimize. There's some of them that do. Like, I won't name names, but there are some that just do the dumbest shit and get away with it. But I also think like...
That's just genetic luck.
No, but see, this is an interesting conversation because I think I saw something about Perk and like people were saying that he's not like, he eats like shit or whatever. But I also think that yes, you can get away with it when you have great genetics. But also there is a level of just like, bro just eats what he wants and enjoys his life. I think like that's a consideration.
It's freeing.
Yeah. Don't look at that and be like, oh, fuck it, he gets away with it. Well, maybe he's doing what feels right for him.
And that's exactly like Charles Kofusi. I just brought him up earlier in a patronizing
But you
way.
ragged him.
But his sleep schedule's terrible for like what you would expect of an elite athlete. His diet is terrible for what you'd expect of an elite athlete. But he loves the way that he does it, and he's more bought into it because of the way that he does it, and trains fucking hard.
And he enjoys it, right?
If he were to try and optimize,
Yeah.
and eat 5 meals with evenly spaced protein and get to bed at 10 o'clock and wake up at 6 when the sun's rising and get sunlight in his eyes first thing and get off his phone before bed and blah 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 and all this shit that you hear,
Morning sunny.
he would have quit 3 fucking years in.
Yeah.
He wouldn't have totaled what he has. He may have progressed a little bit better during those 3 years, but at some point the marathon wins out, right? The time scale is what wins out.
I think it's a case of knowing what's actually optimal for you, right? Like what's optimal for Charles is not what's optimal for me. Like I feel good if I eat the same thing every day leading into a comp prep. It's just how I feel. But like some people, like that is their worst fucking nightmare. And like that's sweet. Like that is what it is. But like when you're trying to optimize for what someone's telling you on the internet, or like maybe what you think you should feel, like that's not always going to happen. Like it's different. Like that optimization is not catered to you.
I also think that the word optimal is like,
It's fucked.
it's like chasing a unicorn.
Yeah.
It's like actually impossible. It doesn't actually exist
Yeah.
because we can't run concurrent experiments at the same time with the same person and find out which of the two options is better. Like we can't do that.
We need twins.
We need twins.
There's twins. I was watching a comp the other day.
There's Irish twins. They were training here for a bit.
Oh, really?
Yeah, yeah.
I was watching a fucking European universities the other day.
Why were you watching that?
My missus had someone
You
competing.
just love powerlifting, eh?
just any stream I can get my hands on, mate.
Optimizing your coaching.
And there was these 2 Spanish chicks, twins. And I was like, this is awesome. Like imagine getting to coach them too, and then like having them do like a different program. And obviously they're still going to eat different, have different externals, but like you get that's the closest you'd get. I'd be like, this is fucking great. Like, that
Imagine
would be
if you could
fun.
get them to like live together and eat the same meals at the same time.
That's the dream.
And like agree to go to bed at the same time, track their sleep and everything. Like that would actually be really interesting.
Have one train like fucking Bulgarian style, and then one like Lane Norton style.
Oh, they'll both break.
Yeah, exactly. They'd be like, well, both methods are fucked.
Both of them quit after a year.
Oh, that'd be so good. All right, let me get one of them.
We're gonna have a quick bathroom break.
Oh, you get fucking pissed, don't you? All right. Overrated, underrated. Sheffield.
I actually reckon it's underrated.
Go on.
I feel like the first year it got huge buzz and it was like very widely received as a positive. But I feel like, how many have they done now? 3 or 2? 3 or 4? They've done 4. I feel like since the first one, the like perception of it has declined each time. And I don't know why that is necessarily, but I feel like people just like to hate. And I actually,
Like, what are you seeing?
just people in the comments being like, oh, this actually isn't a good comp, and like lots of critiques about the refereeing, which sometimes I agree with. But I feel like people these days just find a way to shit on anything.
Yeah.
When like if we zoom out, bro, if you told people 5 years ago the totals that people were hitting at Sheffield, and all of that shit is happening in the same session on the same night,
Yeah.
it's actually fucking nuts.
Lose your
bro.
mind, eh?
Like it's actually nuts. If you told someone 5 years ago, hey bro, Austin Perkins is gonna total 891, 74, you'd be like, oh, is he gonna do that like in knee wraps on gear? Like that would literally be what people would have assumed. But
I don't think my brain still can't quite comprehend that. I just kind of choose to ignore it.
it's crazy.
The 340 squat, whatever it was, like
341, yeah.
74. Come on, bro. Like I remember in Malta in 23, Tim broke the world record with like 281 or something like that.
I remember like 10 times
285.
total body weight being like a huge thing. There was like, I think Brett was the first 83 to do it, and there was like only ever 74s and 66s, and now fucking Perk did 12 times body weight. That is so fucked.
And he had his shit day.
Yeah, he missed a couple of lifts. If you actually zoom out and you look at the performances that are going on, I feel like people are disappointed by some of the performances because they see their training and they just like, they like to.
People always just over guesstimate.
People like to over guesstimate, but also the lifters like to pump up their own tires and I'm going to total this, I'm going to total that. And like that never happens. So people get disappointed. But if you actually zoom out and look at what they're doing, it's fucking sick.
Yeah, like if you had no context going into any competition, right? You'd be like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
That's an interesting thought, actually.
The world record's this, and 3 guys in the same weight class beat it in one day.
Yeah.
Like what?
Yeah, that would be fucking nuts.
Like it's pretty, it's incredible. And the format itself has really helped elevate some of the quote unquote weaker classes.
Yeah. I think that's a good thing.
To the point where now going into the 5th one, it's like 102% might win. 103% would be like incredible.
Yeah, I think that's a good part of it, right? Is like that it has really kind of forced all the classes up, and now like you don't, like if you go to a world, you don't have shitty classes anymore.
Yeah.
And it's a good and bad thing because it's probably forced people to jump around weight classes too much.
Yeah.
Fine for the top end, but like people like copying that just for a regional is like, come on, bro.
Definitely.
Like, just enjoy your lifting.
Definitely.
I mean, I kind of like the idea of moving around weight classes to just like test it out, see where you feel best, right? I think there's value in that. I mean, you just done it.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of sometimes it refocuses you a little bit. But yeah, I think it's overall a really good thing. I mean, the fact that it's in a stadium this year is pretty fucking crazy. Like that'll be really good.
Will you be there?
Yeah, I'll be there.
You reckon?
Regardless, I'll be there.
Oh, you'll be there anyway.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, because you'll be living.
Yeah, because I'll be over there.
Maybe we should get on the spotting team.
On the like check spotters and loaders.
That'd be sick.
Yeah, they're mad dudes. They're actually legends.
Or you could like get on the.
They're always rinsing up.
Get on the commentary team, dude. Kick Ryan off.
Bro, I would kill for that. Actually, Evie's desperate. She's like, if I don't make it, I'm desperate to do like some form of media with 4 of them.
Would she be good at it?
Yeah, she's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't heard her like do any of that.
We had her on the potty, right? She can talk.
Yeah. She was great. That's a bit different to live. Talking about yourself is a bit different to reacting to live stuff.
Yeah, she done a few sessions at Worlds.
Okay.
With Amelia.
Yeah, cool.
But yeah, I think just like opening the door to like what is possible in terms of like how to like that's what they've really done well is like, well, we're just gonna put this product out there. Yeah, maybe like following the scoring's not super easy and like maybe the scoring format's a little bit hard to follow, but like look at this fucking spectacle. Like this is proving that people will show up. And like it's pretty cool, bro. Like when you're there, like people getting fucking ambushed like when they're walking, like, can I get a photo? And it's just like shit you would never. I mean, like I've become like a bit desensitized to it because it's like it was a 4th year this year. But like when you zoom out and think about it, you're like, this is pretty crazy. That like this is what people are like. People are like super fans, bro. I'm like, these people just fucking regular people.
One of the members here, she flew from Sydney to go and watch.
That's crazy.
And she got the VIP package and posted up all these photos of her with like all the lifters. She's coached by Joe B.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And yeah, she like I saw her in the week and I was like, oh, like, hey, like what are you up to? And she's like, oh, I'm going to Sheffield.
Yeah.
I'm like, what the fuck? That's crazy.
And in Europe, it's so accessible, right? You got like heaps of French, Spanish, Italian, like they just all like go because it's like a 2-hour flight. So it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
But I think I would say it's probably underrated the effect that it's had on the sport. I think one of the things that always pops to my mind when I think about Sheffield is like the draw that it had with the split between Powerlifting America and the USAPL. I think that was the real draw card to get them back. I think it probably would have happened, but maybe not as like quickly.
Yeah, there was a few diehards like Taylor and like Jesus initially.
Came straight away. Yeah.
And then there was a bit of a lag, and then Sheffield came in, and it was like, all right.
Yeah, everyone's like, fuck this, I want to do that. That looks like heaps of fun.
Yeah.
So I'm going underrated.
Yeah, I think it's underrated. I do. I think it's gotten underrated. I think initially it was properly rated, the first one.
Yeah.
Because we saw the records get beaten by so much. Yeah, and I feel like people are expecting that to continue to happen, but the reality of it is like it's obviously going to slow down.
I think the records thing's interesting. Like if you look back on, let's just say the men's first year, it was like 105%. Second year, which was Gustav, that was like 101. And then it went, who won last year? Shell. Yeah, it was like 106.
Oh, yeah, he killed it.
And then it was Perk, which was like, what did he get? Like 104, 103, something like that?
Can't remember the exact
Yeah.
number.
So I guess they have actually been still broken quite a bit year to year, right? I just think that 1 year with Gustav was like, that was like anyone could have won that one. That was pretty cool, actually. It is good when it's close. Like when you don't have a clear front runner, I think that makes it better. I think an interesting thing about Sheffield is like I hate to say this because I know a lot of people that like have gotten on the podium, but people only really care about who wins.
Do you think so?
What do you think? Like, tell me who came second and third this year.
I didn't watch it, so I don't know.
Yeah, fair. But like, you know who won.
I do. True. It's a good point.
I just think like it doesn't. I guess what I'm saying more than anything is like the podium doesn't get enough love as it should. Because I think getting on that podium is fucking massive. But I don't even think I could tell you the podiums, and I was fucking there. Like what, Perk, Shell, Emil? No, Etienne.
Was it Etienne?
Yeah, the bro. He's the man, bro.
It wasn't the 105?
No, it was Etienne. Not Keenan, though.
No, it wasn't Keenan.
No.
He finished with a record though.
Yeah. All right, you ready for mine?
That was yours.
Oh, was that mine? Not bro, mine.
Overrated, underrated, properly rated, hypertrophy blocks.
Ooh. So this is an Aussie thing. Coming back to what we talked about at the start. I've always thought like Aussies had an obsession with like bodybuilding hypertrophy blocks. Like I feel like back in the day, it was really common to like do a block of like no barbell back here, over here. Whereas like that just never been a thing in New Zealand.
Well, I mean, I think it came from not RTS, JTS. What is it, Juggernaut? Yeah, Juggernaut.
Oh yeah.
Came from that school of thinking where you do blocks that look quite different from each other leading into a meet. Like one block is your hypertrophy block, higher reps, some variations, blah, blah, blah. And then you progress into your strength block. And then you progress into your peaking block. Like that was a very common thing in like
block periodization.
Yeah, 2013, 2015.
Yeah.
That areas.
I mean, I feel like I still kind of do something like that, but I frame it in the sense of like lower intensities. Like just so you don't not trying to like go too hard all the time.
Yeah, yeah. But also like, and I would still do the same, but the differences between the blocks is a lot smaller than it used to be.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like in a hypertrophy block in 2014, I would have written someone like 4x10 high bar squat on their main squat day. And then in the
Now,
peaking
if you
block,
did that, someone would cry.
And then in the peaking block, it's 2x2.
Yeah.
So they're going from 40 reps to 4 reps. Yeah. Whereas now it might be like 4x6 the most, and then like a top set plus like 3x5.
That is
like quite similar.
That is very true. That is a huge like shift in like someone's maxing out now. Still going.
Definitely Jane.
She's a slow lifter.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's actually a really good point because that is like how I used to do it as well. Like you'd have these like huge variations block to block. I used to always find that probably why I stopped doing that was because people would just get injured when you go like too drastic one block to the other.
Yeah.
And you like change the stimulus too much and then people are like, oh fuck. I actually had this conversation with Mike.
You've put like 60 kilos in their squat sets over the course of like 6 weeks. You're like, I'm on the brakes, bro.
I had this conversation with Mike T. I went to a seminar of his where this was another one in Scotland. He spoke about like the use or like the implementation of emerging strategies and like the value of like pivot blocks. And I was like, well, don't you think like pivot blocks are kind of like inherently risky because you go from doing like, let's just use squats as a protocol, like a top single backed off with like a ramping sets of 5. That's something he would do. From that to like high bar 10s.
Safety bar, yeah.
Yeah. Like, I'm like, doesn't that violate like all the like acute to chronic workload ratio like framework? And he was like, I don't know, I've never really thought about it like that. And I was like, what? But like, he was like, well, I just said I'd like never really had any issues with it or anything. I think like, for me, I just feel like if I did that and I guess you have to like build it up, right? Like if I just switch someone from doing like, you know, the normal shit to like a pivot, I'd be like, they would just get destroyed and there'd be whinging and there'd be injuries and like.
I think a lot of what you see in emerging strategies is when people go back to doing their like development blocks, which is usually like the single at 8 with the back offs, they're not actually doing a single at 8.
Nah.
They're doing like a single at 5.
Yeah.
And then the next week it's at 6.5.
Also because you've just come out the back end of 10s, right?
Yeah,
You're like, fucking hell, this feels unfamiliar.
Yeah, exactly. So it might be like a perception 8, but not a real 8.
I think there's value in that variation. I just don't know if that's the degree of it that you want to be going into. So I guess to like pivot this back to what your question was, which is just hypertrophy, right?
Yeah, hypertrophy blocks. Like
Hypertrophy
full
blocks
for powerlifters dedicated to hypertrophy.
I think it just like, I'll say it depends on what sort of demographic you're kind of like pinning this in. I would say because the pendulum's shifted so far away from that it's actually probably underrated, because like now you just don't see any of that. And I give those blocks to people because I'm just like, bro, you just need to like I'll do like, it's kind of actually what I'm doing at the moment, like two sets of squats and then go hit the belt squats and leg extension for like, 6 sets, because it's just like, just so sick of squatting heavy. And like, it like I would use that. I guess my issue with that block or like that phrasing is like, I don't actually use it for hypertrophy. It's like a change in stimulus, like a variation, like novelty. Like if I have someone that's just like, if you give me a top triple and back off sets of 5, like I'll kill you. I'm like, okay, cool. Let's do like, a triple and then go do some belt squats. Like if I have to go 5 sets of 3 again, like I won't, like I'll quit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and it's
totally.
like that change in novelty where you go in and you like how good's it after like a heavy block to go in and do like leg extensions and just be like, man, I could just feel a pump. And like, that's all I feel. I don't feel super fatigued.
My knees don't hurt.
Well, I don't feel like I've had a weight on my back, you know?
Yeah.
Like it's just, you can go in and get a pump and not have to think about all that shit and not like have that extra fatigue that comes with it. So
yeah, I think like back to those years I'm talking about with the JTS years.
Yeah.
Overrated.
Yeah, that implementation of it is
And
overrated.
I think the reason why is because like we're natural. You don't build fucking muscle in one block. Like that just doesn't happen.
That's a good point, actually.
Like the actual adaptation that you're looking for takes 6 blocks and no one has the time to do 6 hypertrophy blocks.
Yeah, like you got to compete at some point.
Exactly right. So like
That's half a year.
and I feel like the modern meta for programming is very like, we have our powerlifting slots, we have our hypertrophy slots, we fill those in and we have those in all the time. We turn up the dial up at certain times for one and then down at certain times for others and blah, blah, blah. But like you said, I actually feel like it's become underrated to step away from that meta, that classic like top set back downs with, very little assistance work. I feel like that's become underrated.
It could look like anything though, right? Like it depends on who you're dealing with. Sometimes you might get someone who's like, I just want to do some more athletic stuff because they're just like, I'm sick of doing the heavy lifts. Like for me, this is a means to preventing burnout. So if they also hate doing hypertrophy work, then I'm not going to do that.
Yeah, literally
Like,
JP posted the other day he's doing like depth jumps, box jumps.
yeah, see, like shit like that. Like that's good because it's like something that's a change in focus and like more novelty, but it's not just like rinsing the same thing. I have a question for you though. Like I've always thought about this because like I do think like the idea of like doing more hypertrophy is overrated in comparison to like the power lifts. Like I think the power lifts are going to get you basically 99% of the way of like how muscular you will get, right? Let's
99 is too high.
let's remove like, okay, I guess if we remove like the isolation stuff, because obviously like you don't get a lot of like biceps, calves, shit that actually we were kind of talking about today.
Yeah.
But like, okay, if you built a program, like a powerlifting program and a bodybuilding program, and you had 2 identical twins, like we were talking about before, same circumstances, like how different do you think they would look after a year?
After a year, not too different, but after 10 years, very different.
Really?
Yeah, I do. Because the powerlifts themselves don't leverage the muscles as well as like a machine might. Like if you want to smash your quads and you hit a hack squat or a pendulum squat where your knee goes crazy into flexion extension and you're like really putting load through this one particular joint to build a muscle, you're not getting that same amount of quad stimulus doing low bar squats where you're bent over and hinged over at the hip and your knees aren't bending as much. And if you extrapolate that out over the course of like thousands of sets over the course of your training career, you're going to have a very big difference, I think.
Also, like I think the thing that I think about in favor of that, I don't necessarily agree that you would look that different, but it's like also you can kind of like go to a higher proximity to failure,
That's
right?
the other thing is like
Without just like getting injured.
choosing the right exercises for hypertrophy is very important because you want stability to the point where you can only isolate the muscle that you're after.
Yeah.
And B, you want enough stability that you can push that muscle very, very close to failure without recruiting other stuff.
Or like, just
if you hit a low bar
fatigue.
comp squat to a 10 RPE, your quads are, they're going to be smoked, but your back and your hips,
your brain
and your fucking your elbows and your nervous system and everything's going to be like screaming at you. You could probably only do one set. Right? But if you do a RPE 10 on hack squats, you could probably do another 2 sets after it.
Okay. So
you know what I mean?
Yeah, I definitely know what you mean. I agree. And I feel that at the moment because that's the sort of shit that I'm dealing with in my training. I think it's a good like alternative, like doing that sort of stuff and actually a hypertrophy block if you're injured as well.
Yeah. A lot of what I'll do for my clients during like off season, like I'll still give them their comp movements, but they'll be much lower intensity. Usually like 4 to 6 reps, couple sets, 2 or 3 sets. And then straight after it, you go and hit the same movement, like you said before, belt squat, leg extension.
Just smash it.
Straight after you go hit like sets to fucking 9, 10 RPE and you push that stuff hard.
Yeah. And you wake up in the morning and you don't feel destroyed. You're like, oh, actually, a bit of quad soreness.
Yeah, you got
good.
DOMs, not like nervous system, brain fry, and hip pain.
Okay, here's a question for you then. Have you ever like tried to build up a quality within a lifter? Let's say like you're like, oh, you've got weak quads. I know that's a shit argument, but let's just say that, a shit example. But have you ever done that and you've like spent time or catered accessories to that and then you've like seen them in like 2 years and be like, fuck, your quads have grown since we've been doing these?
Definitely.
Really?
Yeah, definitely. Particularly like young lads who I coach who are small. And I'll just pump them with bodybuilding stuff, particularly upper body bodybuilding stuff.
I just can't help but think like we're so predisposed to grow in certain areas. Like I just don't know if we can win that genetic game by like proper exercise selection.
I think the argument for choosing the right exercises is the proximity to failure one. I think that's the best one because proximity to failure, like so high RPE on deadlifts, bro, fuck that. 1 set and I'm cooked for a month.
I do also believe that like you can build muscularity in the squats and deadlifts, in squats and deadlifts with a lower proximity to failure. Like I think like
you can, but then also how many more sets do you have to do for the same effect, right? So we're talking about efficiency here, right?
Yeah.
You could probably get away with doing less sets on a machine to get the same quad stimulus that you could do on a low bar squat, for instance. You could probably do 2 sets compared to like 4 sets.
I just think about my own experience with it. Like, because before I did powerlifting, obviously I did bodybuilding, but my legs never grew before I like started squatting and deadlifting properly. But I was also probably training like a pussy and doing like leg press with like half ROM and like, yeah, I don't know. It's an interesting one. I don't 100% agree that like we can really have that much of a hypertrophy based influence through like different exercise selection. I think that
it's more than just exercise.
I think honestly, I honestly think it comes down to like a health thing, like keeping you healthier, and like that's what allows us to. I guess it is kind of the same thing. I was gonna say that's what allows us to like get that hypertrophy. It's like staying healthier longer. I also do think though, like, have you ever had? You never take time off, right? Well, I've had like a lot of time off because like I travel and shit and I don't train much. Like, it's funny whenever you have time off, like you shrink and you feel like weak and small. And then I'll start training for like 8 weeks and I just go back to where I was. And then like, that's the point that I never get past. You know what I mean? Like, I just feel like we all have kind of like a set point of like muscularity, and it does fluctuate. There's probably like a pretty big bandwidth, right? There's probably like 10, 20%.
So I would say that if I had dedicated my training time up to this point to do bodybuilding, I would be way more jacked than I am now.
You reckon?
Yeah. I don't know if I agree.
Because
Because I look back at like photos from when I first started lifting. I wasn't doing powerlifting. I was doing like essentially like beach muscles.
Yeah.
I had fucking bigger arms than I do now.
Yeah. Well,
Like,
this is what I was kind of saying,
Like
though.
I genuinely, my arms looked fucking way better than they do now.
That was like my caveat, though, like the arms, because like we don't train those at all. So it's like hard to compare that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like biceps and, well, not triceps. So I guess you could use that as an argument. But like biceps, you just don't train in the powerlift. So it's like, that's like I had way bigger arms when I did bodybuilding stuff as well because I trained them 3 times a week. But yeah, I'm going to give you my, what did I say? Underrated. I still think it's underrated. But I think like
Not for the actual hypertrophy.
the drop in intensity is underrated.
For the like longevity.
And the like use of machines and shit is probably
I had
underrated.
a guy on the podcast, Alex, who he came with a hot take, and his hot take was hypertrophy blocks are useful for other ways than you think.
That's basically,
And that's kind of what you're saying now. It's like the mental benefit you get from staying away from heavy sets kind of re-energizes that
Yes, 100%.
and makes your body feel a little bit better.
Yeah,
Puts you in a position where you're like ready to go again.
yeah, yeah.
All right, your turn, bro.
I gotta take a piss.
All right.
You ready?
You're up, bro.
Overrated, underrated, properly rated juries.
I think they're properly rated because I feel like they're universally not liked. And that's how I feel
what
about
it
them.
should be. Why?
I said this on the recap show for Nationals. I feel like the jury needs to be blind to the fault of the lift before they are seeing it. Because I feel like if you are aware, like let's say someone's knees aren't locked at the start. If you're aware that 2 of the referees weren't happy with the knee position at a lockout on a squat, that's now the only thing that you're looking at as the jury. And I think if you are searching for a fault, if you're only searching for one fault, you're going to find it. And I feel like a disproportionate number of lifts are overturned because the jury knows what they're looking for. Then they know what fault they're trying to find.
Yeah, I actually really like that take because that's not anything I've ever heard before. But you're right. Like once you're looking for something, your likelihood of seeing it increases a lot, right?
Yeah, like you see this with clients, right? Like they learn a new thing. Yeah. They learn about fucking bracing, whatever.
Yeah.
They learn about like ribbed down and get away from lumbar extension at the start of the squat, whatever. And now that's all they ever see in their own squat.
Yeah.
And that's the only thing that they ever mention. That's the only lens that they look at it through because they've just learned about it. If you're sitting on the jury and you're told, oh, this was 2-1 good lift, but one referee didn't like X, you're only looking for X.
Mm. So do you think like remove the card system?
No, I think the jury.
Do you think there's any value in the card system?
Yeah, I do.
Why?
Well, it tells the coach and the lifter what to fix if it's an open or a second, and without having to go and ask. So I think it saves time.
You know what's a dumb fucking rule? Is like at internationals, if you have a lift that's a yellow, right, or whatever, and you don't know what it's for.
Yeah.
Like as a coach, you're supposed to go and ask the jury.
Yeah.
The jury don't even know. Like you can't ask the refs. Like if you're at a local, right, you'll just ask the ref.
Yeah, yeah.
But you're not allowed to do that at international.
Well, I feel like that's kind of what they're doing with the card so that you don't have to ask the ref, right?
Yeah, but you know, like a yellow could be 20 different things.
True. It's usually pretty obvious what it is, I think.
But there's so many times where it's not obvious. And you go to the jury and they go, oh, I think it was this. And I'm like, well, how do you know?
Well, that's the problem with the fucking rules anyway, is that like if you didn't see it as the coach who is a referee and knows the rules, if you couldn't see it, like...
Yeah, exactly. But that's what I'm saying.
That's not giving benefit of the doubt to the lifter. So
that's what I'm saying, right?
Yeah.
Because in these instances, you should be like, well, at least like let me know what it's for so we can... I mean, to be fair, I shouldn't rag it too hard because I have been to juries where they will be like, I'll just wait here and I'll go ask.
Yeah, yeah.
Which is good, but that's not a good system. Like you're interrupting the ref.
Yeah.
And you're having to, like, I'm having to stand there.
Well, that's
I've
kind
also
of
got attempt cards in my pocket that I need to hand in.
that's kind of the whole point of the cards anyway, so that you don't have to hold the meet up and ask. It's like, it's a red, okay, it's death, cool. We can walk off and just tell you to score deep.
Yeah, but like yellow can be so many things.
So I wouldn't get rid of the cards. What I would do is probably get the jury officials to judge the lift independently at the same time as the platform lifts.
I think you've thrown that one at me before.
And then if it is 2-1, no lift, you show the jury's lights immediately. 3 reds pop up. Now you have 4 out of 6. Now you have it overturned. 2 reds pop up out of 3. You now have 3-6 decision states.
Are they watching it live or watching it from the telly?
They could still have the screens in front of them like they do with the cameras set up in the right positions, and they can be watching through the screen. Because if they're watching from their seat, they're not in a good position. They need to be watching through the screens. I mean, it does make more work for the jury because essentially you're having a second lot of referees, but that's essentially what they're doing anyway.
So you're kind of saying that there's no value in like replays. Like you don't want that part of it.
I think
because to come to mine, I think jury's underrated because I think that as soon as we take that away, people will lose their shit that like things are getting missed.
Certain lifts pass, yeah. And I think like that's valid. I think that's definitely valid. But the actual idea of a jury is awesome. The actual implementation of the jury is...
Well, for me, it's always like what we spoke about yesterday. It's just like the fact that like the 2 things, refs not giving benefit of the doubt and juries overturning it when it's not an egregious mistake.
Yeah.
Like people don't know what that fucking word means.
If you are looking at a lift more than twice... and you're still searching for it, it's already a no.
But isn't that funny though? Because that transcends powerlifting.
Correct. And that's what I was going to say
before. Footy's the same, right?
What I was going to say before. It's like, of course you're going to find a fucking knock on in every tackle in rugby league if you slow it down to one frame every second. Yeah. Of course you're going to, the ball's going to bobble a little bit.
But they still do that. And everyone goes, stop fucking looking at it.
I know. And it's infuriating. Yeah. And you see it, and it also just takes time. And like, I watch a lot of basketball. Bro, the coach's challenges are 5 minutes. It's the biggest waste of time. Same thing happens in footy. The whole game stops. And they go to some dickhead in the bunker who's like, okay, well, this guy's clearly going to get it wrong. Whatever happens, he's going to get it wrong.
And he's just like going frame by frame. It's just, it slows it all down too.
Yeah. Like the game doesn't happen in slow motion. We say that all the time with rugby league. Powerlifting refereeing doesn't happen with 8 replays.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if it's not obvious on one look at it, then you have to give the benefit of that to the lifter.
I think something that just came to my mind, it's kind of off topic, but like that I think people miss with like the jury is that people always assume that the live stream angle is like the only angle that they have.
Yeah.
Like often they actually have more angles.
They do,
and like you'll see this at internationals where they have like 3 or 4 angles.
Yeah.
And people just like, how can you even tell from that angle? And I'm like, they're actually looking at more.
Yeah, we had this at nationals too.
You guys had more, eh?
Yeah. It was actually really well like put together. They put a lot of thought into it. But I still think the jury was overall a little bit trigger happy, ignoring benefit of the doubt and ignoring the word egregious. It's like, we've got to remember the jury's there to overturn howlers. It's like it's like in cricket with DRS.
Yeah.
It was there to overturn like someone gets caught behind.
Yeah.
When they didn't hit the ball. They know they didn't hit the ball. They go, hey, come on, like I didn't fucking hit that. Yeah. But then it's turned into like slowing it down. Oh, did he nick it maybe?
Yeah,
like that's
like the tiniest
now
little
lost
thing.
The point of what it was there for in the first place.
It's probably like, this is honestly just kind of like a bigger problem in sports, right? Like, and it all just kind of comes down to the benefit of the doubt. But yeah, I'm saying underrated because I think if we took the jury away, people would hate it. Like, I think
people hate it more now than they did before juries existed.
I think it would be the opposite though. If we took it away, people would be like, this sucks. Like all this shit's getting through. Like people don't, like as much as people like do complain about that shit, people don't want shitty lifts to get past. Like that ruins the sport quicker than anything.
I don't know, man. I think,
bro, like I watched the fucking like, what was it? Like SPD, like advanced this comp or some shit, and there's some of the shit that got passed, and that was like great. Or maybe it was the Houston one or whatever. Austin, I don't fucking know. And some of the shit they get passed, like even like Sheffield, right? You were talking about Sheffield before, and then you talking about the reffing. Like sometimes it can be way too lax.
Yeah.
And like nothing ruins a powerlifting comp more than that. Like,
but it's not lax.
lifting.
It's not lax like that multiply guy that went viral the other week. Did you see that? Bro squat to like 50% depth and got whites. It was then overturned like a week later by like the federation. They overturned it. Yeah.
Really?
So it didn't count. Yeah.
That's so funny.
When everyone's like ripping on powerlifting for it, and that's egregious. But I feel like no lifts pass in the IPF that are like
I don't know,
that
man.
are shit.
We'll see this weekend because Powerlifting America.
I feel like more lifts are questionably no lift than the other way around, I think.
Wait, say that again?
More lifts are like questionable that are given no lift than the other way around, I think.
Okay. So you like it's usually not given, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I feel like the reffing is stricter than
it
is too lax.
Yeah, maybe like on the international stage. I don't know. I guess I just hold such a high standard because I'm like always
That's what you're used to.
coaching at a high level, right? So it's like, fuck, you know, you got to be undeniable or else you're going to get cooked or you could get cooked.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. All right, my turn.
Anyway, juries, keep them round.
Got time for a few more.
Stop power tripping.
And I like the idea of why can't I open my fucking notes? Hang on a second. I like the idea of a jury. Like I think juries themselves could be useful, but the current implementation
Yeah, I agree. I do agree.
Is a bit off. Tempo work.
Ooh.
Overrated, underrated, properly rated.
Ooh. Fucking underrated, bro. I'm the tempo
great.
king.
I love tempo work.
Bro.
So good.
You get injured, like you can ask any of my clients this.
Well, you told me to do this when I hurt my shoulder. You're like, bro,
just tempo it, bro.
3 times a week.
Just go slow, bro. Like slowing shit down. Also, like, okay, I just always implement it. It's like my first port of call when there's an injury. At least like give it a go. Like I always say, like 2 things you can manipulate: tempo and load.
Load, yeah.
And like if you can do that, you usually can find something that you can actually do. Like, and if you can't, then you need to rest it.
Or range.
Well, what's that?
Or range of motion.
Yeah, range of motion. I don't do that a lot though. Like I don't manipulate range of motion really at all. I'm trying to think if block pulls sometimes.
Yeah, block pulls, block
pulls.
presses.
No, I don't do a lot of that.
It's been a while since I've done that stuff.
I use block pulls as like a pretty go-to for like a deadlift injury, like a back injury that's affecting the deadlift. But I just think like slowing, because like it makes sense, right? Because most of what we do, most of the injuries that we get are like tendinous.
Mostly over.
But they're mainly tendon issues, right? So usually they're very receptive to slowing things down and less force, or like rate of force through that tendon. Also, like one of the biggest pillars of like tendon rehab is like slow, heavy resistance training. So I think like that's always my first go-to. There's definitely some injuries, some shoulder shit that really hates like slower stuff, but like I think I love it. I mean, I love tempo. Like what I love is like, you know, someone's complaining about an injury or whatever, like blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay, cool. We're going to do like sets of 8, 3-1-3 tempo. They're like, oh, nah, it's actually not that bad anymore. It's like a real litmus test for like, are you actually injured or are you just being a bit of a fucking pussy?
That's so funny. I've never thought about it like that.
I think like it really, because it sucks, bro. Like it sucks, but like it really emphasizes the like musculature over like your joints and tendons.
And load.
Because you just like burn.
Well, you got to drop load.
Yeah, and you got to drop load
so much.
And you can still train kind of hard, like in a way.
Yeah.
Like
you can get a good hypertrophy stimulus.
Yeah, well, you can just like feel like you're actually doing something.
Yeah.
So I think it's so underrated, bro. Like I love.
See, like I also think it's underrated, but for a different reason mostly.
Go on.
Like I like the technical efficiency that you can gain from moving slowly and feeling stuff out. Come in. Cool. I feel like tempos for someone who has like balance issues or like issues with maybe bar path in the descent on bench press or, hinging in deadlift. Adding a tempo allows you to feel out the different portions of it, and it allows you to self-correct as you go, which is a big one because you can feel when you're too far on your toes if you're going really slowly, and you can self-correct and get yourself back on the midfoot.
But I think that's also kind of a flaw in tempo work sometimes. Or I'd say that's a flaw in controlling like an eccentric too much, is that you can manipulate it more. Whereas like, you know, something that I teach in the squat is like trying to descend, like what's a cue I always use is like, don't fight gravity on the descent and just go.
Yeah, allow yourself to flow into it.
Like find your midfoot before you go and then just flow down. And I think like if you try and control it too much, you can get really caught up in these positions that aren't midfoot. So like, for example, you can end up like really on your heels because that's just like the way you're tempoing, or maybe you're trying to implement that because you think it's good. And then obviously, as you know, like when you actually go to the concentric phase and you start pushing up, like your weight shifts because you need to get on the midfoot to actually be able to push anything.
But I feel like that would show you very quickly. It's kind of what I mean. It's like,
yeah, I guess you're right.
If you do one shit one and you're in your heels too hard, you hit the bottom, you immediately get shifted to the midfoot because that's where the only place you can actually get force.
And that's the learning, right?
And that shows you in the next rep, and then you get it right. So like the classic like move slow, learn fast, fucking rhetoric that we hear. Yeah. I love that for secondary days, or even for like warm ups before primary day. Like do 70, 100, 120, do them tempo and then go up.
I just do that because I'm old.
Well, yeah, that's the first reason. But that's I don't go to that initially with someone's injured. I would adjust load first usually.
Well, they kind of work together though, right?
Yeah. I mean, by adjusting tempo, you have to adjust load. But I would just adjust load first, and then if that's not the go, then I would go add adjusting tempo in there as well. But
I usually just tend to throw both at them, eh?
I'm talking more about like actually getting better at the movement.
Yeah,
tempo is so good.
I think something like what I like about it is like I find this a bit more often, and this has got nothing to do with like the secondary primary shit, but like some people, especially like if you coach like really strong lifters, they just can't handle anything on their secondary day. And I think like tempo is a good way of getting a decent amount of like exertion in without like creating too much like central fatigue.
Yeah.
And I think like that's good. Like I have some people who will squat like 140 on their like secondary day and then squat like 260 on their like main day.
Really?
Yeah, but like bro, I have like not so much anymore, but this one guy I used to coach, he would do like every secondary day was the same. He squats like 280. I can't actually quite remember. I think he squats like 280 now. But like every secondary day was like 170 to 180 tempo, and he's just like so fried every time he goes into it. But I have quite a few people like that. The secondary day is just like a nothing day. It's just like practice. But it's not like trying to prime for the main day. It's just like I get to that day and I feel fucking shit. And obviously you could do a lot of things there, but sometimes just having like a light, easy day works. It's kind of like speed work, what it used to be like. I could probably implement that and that would work as well.
Yeah. I mean, I've always, for my squat, done a lot less on my secondary day because I've always done it high bar.
Yeah.
And it makes my legs feel good, doesn't cook my upper body.
Yeah.
And like, I come into my main day feeling ready.
I like to, like with deadlifts, I use a lot of like singles, like 5x1, 4x2, shit like that for a secondary, which is like, and that's like the same weight throughout the entirety of the block. So I feel like that responds well to like a really like nothing secondary day. Sometimes other people can handle more. But anyway, tempo work, underrated as fuck, mate. I love it. That's underrated. My go-to. What do you think?
Yeah, completely underrated. I feel like there are a lot of instances where people try to find other changes to make where a tempo could solve a lot of them.
I think for bench, I like it when it's like you're trying to teach a bit of a softer touch. Like, because some people just like can't get it right and you have to just slow it down. I also like, what do you think about when people like do a tempo? If we talk about bench or a squat, same thing. I fucking hate it when people do they're like at the top, they're like
really slow.
1, 2, 3, 4, and then they're just down. I'm like, bro, that's the easiest part of the lift, and you're just like tempoing it, and then you're just like going like you normally would. I'm like, that's not a fucking tempo. Yeah, like especially in bench, eh? I'm like, no, you've got to like hold it on your chest. Okay, I got one. This is a bit more controversial. Using your lifters to promote yourself.
I don't know where it's rated. So I don't know what my opinion is relative to the consensus.
I think
Do you feel like it's highly rated?
it's probably accepted. It's probably a more better way of framing it, where like it's common practice.
I feel like as coaches, as anyone who runs a business, how does anyone know if your business delivers results or not?
Word of mouth.
If you run a fucking plumbing business, word of mouth, but also people leave reviews. People can go and check. If you're showing your clients results, essentially that's a review. It's like, hey, here's this person I work with. Here's what we were able to achieve. As long as you're not pumping up your own tires in order to show what they've been able to achieve. Like when people refer to their client and they're doing something together as like we're going to pull this.
Yeah.
Like, no.
They are.
Your client is going to pull this. You're not actually lifting. They are lifting. You're not doing anything other than like providing a bit of guidance. So I feel like it's necessary for people to grow their business.
Is it though?
I feel like it is. I feel like that's the one thing, we can talk about content, but I feel like you want to talk about content. I feel like you telling people how smart you are in your content does not help you get clients.
Yeah.
But you showing people the results that you're able to achieve through your work can help you get clients.
Sometimes those two come hand in hand though, right? Like you get people who show results and then also flex how smart they are.
As long as you're not like trying to make it seem like it was your magic or like they
kind of what you're saying, right?
They wouldn't have been able to do it without you or these
you're the
things.
man, you're the...
Yeah, like as long as, you're not doing the fucking Joey flex where he's like, I helped my bros buy a house and all that fucking shit that he did that time on his story.
I like Joey. He's a good
when Marcellus called him out.
Yeah.
That's bad. That was so funny. As long as you're not doing that stuff.
That back and forth is like all time.
That was funny as.
Any other good powerlifting beefs? Not really, eh? That was a good one.
Not really.
Anyway, I don't know. I just get a little bit shitty sometimes when, like, I think of like this game about a little bit more around Sheffield, and like everyone who's coaching someone at Sheffield just like rinse them so fucking hard, and I'm like, I think the first thing that comes to my mind, I was like, I wonder if they actually have consent for this, and like people shilling like programs being like, oh, so and so's program to make Sheffield, and it's like, well, I get that that's actually your intellectual property because you're a coach and you wrote the program. But like you're also using their name and kind of their brand in a way to make money. And like, are they even getting a cut of this? And it's just like, I don't know, man. I just think people push other people's work so hard for their own gain. And sometimes I just look at it and I'm like, this seems so disingenuous in the sense of like, are you celebrating their wins? Are you looking forward to it? Or are you actually just posting this because you want people to know that you coach these people?
Yeah.
And look, I get it, man. Like, I think we want to like celebrate our lifters' wins, but there is also of like, we want to flex like this actually worked well. And I'm also trying to show off that I know what I'm doing, and that's okay. But I think sometimes it gets taken too far.
Yeah, 100%.
Where like, it's like, okay, we get it, bro. You coach so-and-so, shut the fuck up. Like, that's not your identity. Like, do you bring anything more to the table? No. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know.
And the other thing that I have an issue with is the coaches that only post about their best lifters and don't post about everyone they coach. Because like I personally, when I coach someone at a comp, I'll get a photo with them. I'll write how they did. I'll say this person, they went 8 for 9. They lifted this weight. This much of a PB. Well done to this person. And that's as far as I'll take it. And that's as far as I'll leave it. I'll never say, we did this to their programming and this worked because X, Y, Z, because I'm so smart, blah, blah, blah. I feel like the language that you use is the important thing.
Yeah.
It's okay to say like, hey, I'm really proud of this person and I'm really fortunate that this person was working with me and trusted me to help them along the way and we got this result. I think that's the tone of voice you need to have as opposed to like, look how good I am because I can get these results.
I always wonder though if it swings the other way too. Like, have you ever had any problems where like because that's what you do, and I know you do that. Like where someone's gone like, bro, can you not post that? I had a fucking mare. Like I don't want that to be known to the public.
Never once.
Because I always think that, right? Like I think about like people being like, so-and-so, like my lifter competing today at 2 p.m, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, well, what if they have a shitter and they don't want people knowing that that's on? Like we have like reasonable followings, right? People will probably, like it's not big, but like people will see that. And if they have a shitter, like they're like, well, like, I don't know. I'm just like, I worry that like that happens. And then they're like, oh, well, like, you know, I felt even more pressure from the fact that you posted this. And then like now everybody kind of knows, because most people always want to do a follow-up as well, right? Like most people will post, this is happening, and then you'd like a follow-up post or a story or whatever. And I'm like, I think there just should be a lot more consent around that whole process of like, hey, do you mind if I post? Because I see people being like you probably did this, right? People being like, oh, this is the team we've got going to nationals, or this is the team we've got going to whatever. I'm like, okay, cool. Did you ask for consent to do that? Do these people even necessarily want the world to know that you're coached by them? And do they want to know that they're like competing in front of like a, you know, an audience of 30,000 followers or something?
Yeah.
I don't know. I just can't help but think
that
like,
is something that I've done in the past when I've had like a team announcement. I've said, hey, can you send me a photo of you? I'm going to do a post.
yeah, well, that's basically consent.
Are
Right?
you happy for me to do the post? And do you want me to collaborate with you, like, or not? Because I've had people who are like, yeah, happy for you to do the post, but like, don't invite me as a collaborator because I won't accept it. Like, I don't want it on my page, but like, I'm happy for you to post it. And like, that's cool. So like, I definitely agree. Like, there does have to be some level of consent with like, hey, like, let's get a photo and I'll do a recap after the comp. Are you cool with that? Yes, done. That's all it needs.
Yeah, I just think it's just like, we're in this weird place of like everybody trying to push. So I definitely see this more like in the UK, Europe. People like, it's like a real like competitive environment there. It's kind of here too. I guess New Zealand, coming from New Zealand, like nobody really does that. Like, cause we just don't have that much of a competitive environment. And it's just not a very like in our nature to be like flex too hard. Like we're always trying to like peg ourselves down. But I don't know. I just think we're in a weird spot where I think something's going to happen where somebody's just like really actually, I could tell you an example after this that I probably can't say on a podcast. Where like someone's going to be like, you need to stop fucking using me. I'm going to leave you because you just keep rinsing me because I'm like competing at Worlds or I won a world championship or whatever. And I think it's just like a little bit more fragile than people give it credit for, because they're like, oh, everyone else does this, so I'm just going to post about this person all the time without any consent.
When I had Joe Stanek on the podcast, I asked him like about 10 times if he coached Perk, sarcastically, because that's all he fucking
Yeah, bro.
posts. Like, hang on a second, bro. Do you coach Perk? And he was like, first few times, he's like, yeah. So funny.
Well, you know,
All right.
no comment.
Was that my one or your one?
That was mine.
Okay.
What, you didn't give me a answer.
Well, I wasn't sure what the general consensus was.
Yeah, true.
I guess it's probably, I feel like it's properly rated because I feel like it is somewhat of a necessity to build a business. Like for you, like your books are full. You're not worried about clients. Like your business relies on word of mouth. I have experienced that when I post clients' results, that's when I get inquiries.
An influx.
And like,
I don't mind what I think is kind of cool is when people do like a month highlight or something.
yeah.
I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I guess or even like a comp recap. I actually think that's fine. I know we spoke about that, but I actually think that's fine.
I think that's
it's more
fine.
just the stuff like just really like pushing the same person over and over.
Yeah. And I feel like the comp recap stuff is fine so long as you're framing it in a way that highlights the lifter and not yourself.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, I coached this person. They had a great day. Here's the numbers they hit. I'm really proud of them. Thank you for trusting me.
Yeah.
On to the next.
And it's also just like asking to ensure that they're okay with that, I think is like.
All right, next one.
Something I'm not sure everybody
kind of
does.
spoke about this earlier. Golden micro. Do you want to define it?
Well, should I define the golden micro?
Yeah, bro. Tell
Squat on
everyone,
Thursday.
Day one.
Day one, upper body. Well, basically the concept is that there is like an ideal microcycle that is best for you, and you just rinse and repeat it all the time. I think like the wording's so off on that shit though, because like no one uses it as a micro, right? Everyone uses it as a macro, mesocycle.
Well, some like RTS uses that as a micro, right? They just repeat the same week. That's the emerging strategies, right?
Yeah, true. I guess that.
So they do.
It's not often.
They're not the ones saying golden.
Yeah, I was about
micro.
to say it's often not associated with
Yeah.
With RTS though. I hate the phrasing. The phrasing is overrated, but I actually don't mind the concept of it, and it comes down to like what you were speaking about before, where you find like a structure that works,
Yeah,
and then you dial things up and down. And I think that's actually quite important. I like the consistency. I think that's important. I do think, like, going back to what we talked about previously, like there used to be such fluctuations in what you would do. You'd go from like squatting once a week to 2 times a week to 3 times a week within like 3 blocks.
yeah.
And like you would do things like change the leg press for a squat, and it's like, oh, it's very different things. And like I think that just kind of really inhibited any continuity. So I like the idea of it. You just have to know how to implement it. I could tell you, coming from like the UK, like looking at like what's going on in the UK, like so many people just do the same thing over and over and over and over. Like that, but there's more of like a block to block thing. So they'll rinse the block till it dies. And I think that's fucking dumb. Like you block, yeah, I'll run a block for like 2 blocks.
Yeah.
That looks exactly the same. Anything after that, like, I guess it could work. I shouldn't say it's dumb. I just don't want to do that. And I don't think I know many people that would like to just continue to do that. Also, I think, like what we spoke about before, your momentum starts to run out a little bit. Because like for me, like I always frame it in the sense of like, I have a pretty good idea of what like the golden macro cycle looks like. Like I can roughly tell you like what 3 or 4 blocks leading into a comp is going to look like for a person.
Yep.
And like where they need to start to and where they need to get to, just so we can continue to add load, continue to bring up intensity, drop volume slightly, and then just like keep adding weight to the bar to keep them feeling good about training.
Yeah, there's some artificial things you can do in there that kind of go against what we were saying earlier about progressive overload being the adaptation.
Yeah.
Is that there are things, there are levers that we want to pull to actually facilitate more weight going on the bar. That isn't necessarily a reflection of actually getting stronger block to block. It's more a reflection of building confidence and building that perceived momentum.
Yeah, it's like a positive association with training.
Yeah. And I think that's one of the
You are working towards getting to like
Yeah.
the heaviest thing that you can do, right? So it is kind of nice to have that linear.
Yeah, and that's why I like using prescribed loads with a lot of people, because I want people feeling good going from week to week. I did 170 last week. I'm going to do 175 next week. That's why I really like prescribed loads. My issue with golden microcycle is the idea that each person is a special snowflake and needs all these different things. When, yeah, there are schedule things. People have different injuries. People have like different preferences. People lift in slightly different ways. But the way that we adapt to training and the way that our bodies like recognize stimulus is not very different.
Yeah, I agree with
and
that.
I feel like people want to pretend like they need something really, really specific and really special, when the reality is they probably need something very, very slightly changed compared to the quote unquote norm. And that's my thing, is like, you know, we spoke earlier, like, okay, cool. People have scheduling problems. Cool. You got a really busy day on Monday. Let's have a day off. That's part of the micro. That's the important stuff.
Yeah, that's the important
Not the like, you know, we need to bench 5 days and they need to be heavy, light, heavy, or whatever. And then the belt squat needs to be 1 day before the primary squat for XYZ reason. It's like, we're just going so far down the rabbit hole that we're missing the bigger picture and we're missing the zoomed out version of like what progress looks like.
Also, I think, do you think that like that as a narrative is actually dangerous to say to someone, oh, we just found that like your secondary squats need to be 2 days before your primary squats in order for you to like...
Yes, because you're boxed into that.
Because all of a sudden you're saying like, this is the way that you need to be performing, and like, this is what you have to do. And if for whatever reason, like you get an injury and you can't do that, you need to rest it, then all of a sudden you're like, well, I can't be as strong as I'm supposed to.
What if you're
because we
traveling
found
interstate
out.
for a comp and now you can't travel on that day because
Yeah.
you gotta go
Yeah.
to do your primary, you gotta do your secondary squad day.
Yeah, I think that's super interesting. Where like you're almost taking away, you're almost like noceboing them into or placeboing them into like thinking that that's what they have to do.
And the other thing that you're doing is highlighting your importance as a coach to be able to find the golden
I was going
motorcycle.
to say that too.
And that's one of the other things that pisses me off.
I
is that,
found that they
again,
need.
it's just coaches pumping up their own tires, pretending that they're smarter than they are. When like we said this last night, bro, we don't fucking know what really works. We're just
No, you just fucking make it
we're
up.
just making it up and like just
know how
go
to
with the
spin a
flow.
good yarn.
And,
I think it is funny though, because you can use that in a valuable way too, but you have to caveat it with the fact that it's not always going to be the case. Where you can pump someone up and be like, oh, this is so, like let's say someone's battling really hard with squats. You can use that as a tool for buy-in where you're like, oh, look, back 6 blocks ago we were doing squats on a Wednesday instead of a Thursday and it was going so much better. I reckon we just go back to that.
Yeah.
And like this is going to work really well. Like we've got evidence there. And like in my mind, I'm like, this is just like, it doesn't fucking matter.
Yeah, I'm just guessing.
But like you're just stuck in a rut for whatever reason. And like I'm just going to try and throw some like sort of narratives around this to like really dress it up so that it looks like sexy and like it's going to work. And sometimes that works as well. But you need to be like, you need to not sell the idea that this has to be like this all the time.
Or that this is the only thing.
Yeah.
The other issue, and this is probably what we'll finish the potty on because
You got to get going, mate.
The idea of the golden micro works if you're, like spacing your main lifts across the week. But then what do you do going into competition? If you've got your primary squat day 2 days after your secondary and you've got that 3 days before your primary deadlift, and now all your lifts are peaking at different times, how do you get them to peak on competition? If you've got this very, very specific way of framing the week and how everything works.
We know people just move their training days around.
This is how we get our best performance. Yeah, but you're not doing those. In most cases, people aren't doing those primaries on the same day. So like, if my primary deadlift is Tuesday and my primary squat is Thursday, and now my competition is on a Saturday, now I have to shift like my entire program around to get the spacing correct.
Yeah, true.
So
Because you're trying to, that's a good point.
because you're trying to peak all the 3 lifts at once.
Yeah.
Whereas in the golden micro context, you're trying to peak all 3 lifts in the different contexts across the week.
Yeah.
So like
You're kind of shooting yourself in the foot
you're
there.
kind of going, okay, this is great for our training. We're going to get really predictable training outcomes, but the actual day that matters to get predictable outcomes is the competition day. And this is like a real big strength of the SBD Saturdays. Like we now, if the SBD Saturday is included in the golden micro, we now have something that's predictable going to comp.
Yeah. This is a good point. I just can't. Like I just kind of got stuck on the thought there, which I do think is crazy. Which is this is a bit of a UK thing, where like
just assume everyone does it.
No, like people will be like they do SBD Saturday, right? And they're competing on a Sunday. Like, oh, should I shift? Like, when are we going to change my SBD to Sunday?
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, what is your Sunday like? They're like, oh, really busy. I'm like, we're not going to do it on Sunday.
Yeah.
Like, but I have to. And it's like, you fucking kidding me? It's one day.
Yeah. I mean, I've had lifters.
Like, I can write a taper that works well enough to like shift things across a day.
Yeah. Like I've had lifters who like, maybe they go to international comp and they're competing on a Tuesday.
Yeah.
And they usually do their primaries on a Friday and Saturday or something. We will shift stuff.
Yeah, I've shifted, but you don't have to.
You don't have to, but yeah, I will shift stuff to, to match up with that.
I think there's like a level of importance to it, right? Like if you are like really up there and you're like, you do run an SBD Saturday, I think there's probably value in it. But at the same time, like if you're just local dude, and you're just like, you don't need to worry about one day extra. Like just do a primer day.
All right, bro. Thanks for joining me. We've gone so over time, bro. My client's here. He's here.
All right. Get in there, mate.
Thanks for joining us. That was episode 70 something. Jason Clarke.
Cheers,
I'll put his socials in
don't follow me. It's trash.
All right. Ciao.
Peace.